Who are you? What are you doing here?
I was told to give you this.
This you get for betraying your faith and your...
It's Afghanistan, 2021, and we see Amir, a grim-faced man sipping tea at a local tea shop. The tea seller receives a phone call and looks towards him in what seems to be fright before scribbling something on a piece of paper and bringing it to him. Amir looks at the note in exasperation before throwing a coin on the table towards the tea seller and stands up. He walks with determination for a while until he reaches a house and makes his way to the back where we can hear dogs barking furiously. He yelled as he swung open the door, and his men scurried towards a line of dog cages and swung them open, pulling out the bleeding and battered people crouched there. Yep, I thought the dogs were in the cages too, but they're just chained to a post. He looks at the only female among the battered pack and tells her that if one wasn't enough for them, maybe she could convince them otherwise. And we see an empty cage behind hers, indicating that someone used to be there before leading her and the others towards the crowd. In public execution style, she's forced to her knees in the circle of waiting people, and the men who were imprisoned with her were lined up behind her as Amir thrust huge rocks into their hands, and one of the men glares at him. He goes on to address the crowd, telling them that the woman kneeling before them, Jake, was an American who had come to defile their land and eradicate Islam, and he urges the people to show her the fate of those who desecrate the name of their holy prophet. The prisoner who had been glaring at Amir drops his rock, causing the other man to walk up to him angrily, telling him to pick it up. The prisoner continues to stare defiantly, and Amir reaches for his gun and shoots one of the bystanders, startling everyone and showing him that innocent lives would be taken. The prisoner hesitates for a moment, but quickly picks up his rock as Amir points the gun to someone else. With a shout of fear and desperation, the prisoner launches the rock at the woman kneeling in the center, striking her head and knocking her down. In an instant, the rest follow, pelting her with stones, when suddenly 2 military choppers arrive and start shooting at the violent crowd. Chaos breaks out, and everyone runs to safety while a squad of armed soldiers run out of a chopper as it lands, shooting at the screaming crowd and running towards the woman crouched on the floor, rocks around her. As they take her back to the chopper, Amir and his men take positions behind cars and start shooting back at the soldiers. As his men fall one by one, Amir looks behind him and makes the quick decision to run towards the back where one of his men is lying lifeless beside a missile. He picks it up and aims it at one's chopper, blowing it up, pilot and all. The pilot of the other chopper looks at his partner and friend go up in flames and starts to lift the chopper off the ground. The remaining soldiers run back to the only chopper left as it rises into the air. Jake, still huddled on the floor of the helicopter, looks towards the pilot in panic.
Don't you leave him!
She screams, begging for him to stop and go back for her teammates, but the pilot only ignores her, tears streaming down his face. She looks out of the chopper, and a horrific scene waits for her below where her teammates are lined up on their knees with Amir putting bullets into their heads, one at a time. Fast forward to present-day Quetta, Pakistan. In a prestigious girls' high school, a group of girls excitedly run into the bathroom where they share a cigarette and exciting news. Amidst laughter, they hear loud gunshots and freeze before running to peep through the window where they see huge trucks speeding into their school premises. One of the girls thinks it's the Taliban, but her friend, Badia, tells her they are ISIS. As the armed men jump out of the trucks and start grabbing the girls in the yard, chaos ensues with bullets flying into the air and staff falling like flies. The girls in the bathroom run out and are about to go down the stairs when Badia decides they should go to the roof instead, so they race up the stairs. As the armed men continue to pull girls out of classrooms and hiding places and shoving them into their waiting trucks, Badia and her friends watch discreetly from the rooftop. A man asks the scared girls for Camilla Durrani's daughter, but they are too frightened to speak and just stare at him. A female teacher who had been helping the girls get into the truck tries to speak up and say the girl he was looking for didn't come to school, but he just shoots her in the head, causing the girls to scream and cower. The man turns around and we see it's Amir, the terrorist from Afghanistan. Of course it's him. He signals his men to go look for the girl, and a few of them run back into the school, alarming the girls on the rooftop. With her friends scared they were going to be discovered, Badia tells them the car park is their best bet since she can drive, so they all race down the stairs where they collide with one of the ISIS terrorists. The man is jolted backwards down the stairs, dropping his gun in the process. As he flies back up to attack the girls, Badia picks up his gun and aims it towards him, figuring out how it works in the nick of time. Her friends run back to the rooftop while she shoots a few more men turning the corner towards her. But the bullets in the gun are not enough as Amir's face pops out menacingly. Seeing that she's unable to shoot, she runs back towards her friends on the roof, sadly leading him to their hiding spot. Amir lashes out at the girls for getting an education instead of becoming wives, and we understand that some of them are Afghan girls whose parents sent to Pakistan to be able to get an education, and Badia's mother, Camilla Durrani, is the Afghan Minister of Education, which makes her his target. Badia speaks back at him, insulting his terrorist group, and to punish her, he throws 2 of her friends off the roof, killing them instantly. Badia's mother finds out about the attack on TV where Amir is speaking and asking for $10 million for each girl as ransom, as well as the release of a Taliban prisoner named Sheikh al-Shamali in 5 days. In the next scene, we see the girls huddled up against each other in a dark and dirty room where they discuss their fate. Hallie, the US ambassador's daughter, thinks they're safe because of their powerful parents, but her friend reminds her that the US doesn't pay ransom to terrorists, so they're also
all pretty close to dying or being given to ISIS fighters.
Badia adds, calling their attention to the fact that most of the girls kidnapped in the school were not around, as they looked at each other in fear and helplessness. All the way in the US, in Fort Irwin, California, a female soldier clad in the ceremonial dress uniform enters a room and goes to sit beside the male soldier already waiting. He is the pilot that led the rescue mission to Afghanistan in 2021 to pull out the US soldiers being held hostage, but unfortunately only able to rescue the female soldier about to be stoned to death, Jake. His eyes follow her as she takes her seat beside him, the soldier who he rescued, who was the reason for the death of his friends, but who was now reporting him for cowardice. They stand to salute the commander as he walks in, but instead of a regular hearing, he berates Jake for reporting the pilot that saved her life and lost his teammates in the process in a rescue mission that was doomed from the start. The commander tells her to think through her decision, and the hearing is adjourned till Monday. To let out some inner rage, and of course, grief, Jake goes to have a combat training session with a teammate who whips her ass and leaves her angrier than before. As she catches her breath, she hears someone say,
I heard you've been making friends.
Travis, her boss, is sitting a few spaces from her, and he insists she take a shower before they talk. Travis tells Jake about a new plan for which he has assembled a team of skilled women to infiltrate Afghanistan, where the girls have been held hostage, but Jake doesn't want to do it. Travis reminds her that this is the perfect way to redeem herself and save her career after reporting the pilot for cowardice, which put her on the bad side of a lot of people. As she thinks about it, he tells her Amir, the man who hacked up her team, is the one who kidnapped the girls, making it personal for her. And just before she agrees, Travis pulls out the passport with the fake name he made for her. Jake stares at him and mentions that he already knew she was going to go on the mission, and Travis responds with,
7 years and I still know almost nothing about you, Jake. This would be the exception.
She takes a look at her new passport and sees the name, Jessica Rabbit, which annoys her but makes Travis smile mischievously. Jake flies to Pakistan, where she is picked up from the airport by a Abbas crazy driver whose heart is in the right place. At the hotel, she meets Rocky, the mechanic, who was one of the women Travis hired for the mission, and learns that the other woman is Afghan, who migrated to the US after her father was executed. Rocky takes her to meet the rest of the team, and it's evident the other women don't like her, especially Geek, the tech expert amongst them who continually pokes at her verbally and constantly brings up when Jake allegedly killed her commander, Frank, in Afghanistan. That other cage back in 2021 that I mentioned earlier? Yeah, that's where the commander was. We're not sure how true this is since it happened in Afghanistan, and Amir is not the most reliable news bearer. But Geek also mentions that Jake abandoned her own team to be slaughtered when she left Afghanistan back in 2021. At least we know that's not what happened there. After going over the not-so-great plan with her new team, Jake takes a quick trip to a close-by internet cafe where she calls an Afghan woman called Awina. She asks the Afghan to find where the kidnapped schoolgirls are in 12 hours and insists she meet up with her in their usual place before going to meet Travis, who has just landed.
I hear you've been making more friends.
Travis tells her sarcastically, but Jake doesn't care because to her, friends die. As they speak, the Afghan Minister of Education, Camilla, comes in to talk to them briefly. She asks them to save her daughter when they find the girls, as she was going to provide the $10 million ransom. Jake does not like the idea of saving just her daughter, but the older woman explains that the terrorists will kill her daughter first to set an example, so the Americans can get the money and get their own girls out too. She gives them the name of an old friend who will help them cross the border into Afghanistan and begs them to bring her daughter back to her. On the way to Afghanistan, one of their trucks breaks down, and Malik, the guy driving the second truck, assures Jake that Abbas was going to fix it. Yeah, he may be a crazy bad driver, but turns out he's a crazy good mechanic. Jake and Malik have a meaningful conversation, mostly centered around Abbas since they were brothers, and soon the truck was good to go. They pull up at the airport where Abbas tries to reason with the immigration soldiers who insist they go back and later start emptying the truck, breaking bottles of medical supplies as they search for hidden weapons. Right, like a bunch of secret spies would hide their weapons in boxes of medicine while pretending to be medics. Just in the heat of it, a senior commander comes to their rescue, berating the other soldiers for breaking their supplies and lets them go through the border. He's Bashir, the friend of the Afghan minister, Camilla. In the next scene, we see Amir in his dark cave office, looking for answers in a teacup when one of his men brings in an American schoolgirl. Remember the girl who thought they were safe because their parents are US officials? Yeah, that's her, Hallie. Amir is able to convince her to make a delivery to the Taliban police station because she's a selfish little girl who jumps at the idea of being released. The team makes it to the medical camp and drops off the boxes of supplies and medicine, and before he leaves them, Abbas discreetly shows them where the bombs are and helps them leave freely. Jake puts on a burqa and makes her way to Awina, while Travis, the bomb and shooter, go to where they expect their stash of guns to be, except it's not there anymore, so they return to figure something out. Hallie is driven to the police station with the letter in hand. As soon as the officer she delivers it to reads it, her driver runs out of his car seconds before it blows up, taking the police station and Hallie along with it. The note said,
This you get for betraying your faith and your...
The explosion shakes the city and the team rushes out to the balcony to see huge belts of smoke rising in the distance where the police officer used to be. Abbas sends Malik to go check it out as Jake returns. She finds the team in a room putting a plan together to go rescue the girls from a certain location, but she quickly tells them that location is a trap. She informs them that she got word from accurate source on where the girls were, and when she mentions that her source is Awina, a Taliban midwife she once rescued, some people in the team don't take it well, namely Geek, who lashes out at her for rescuing a Taliban and leaving her own team behind. Travis has had enough and he cautions everyone, warning them that they have to start acting like a team for the mission to go well. He confirms from Jake if she trusts Awina, to which the other lady said she does, so they change plans. Since their stash of weapons had disappeared, Travis decided to go with Abbas's suggestion on robbing the Taliban armory. That night, they blow up a building to create a distraction, making the Taliban think it's the ISIS doing and luring the majority out of the armory, shooting a few out of the way. With the coast cleared, Abbas and Malik drag 2 bodies out and put on their uniforms before driving directly into the armory, pretending to be Taliban and allowing it to be infiltrated by the rest of the team. They quickly take what they need, while Geek gets a drone going to watch the Taliban, and the bomb sets up some landmines. The Taliban soldiers return shortly and a shootout ensues, but the team is able to leave after a few rounds, and an activated landmine. On the way out, a wounded Taliban soldier starts shooting at them from the floor, hitting Dr. Mike and causing him to fall out the back of the truck and to the ground. Jake sees this from the side mirror and insists Malik, who is driving their Humvee, goes back for him. They make a quick U-turn and pick up the doctor, but another shootout starts and Travis is hit by a bullet and they have to quickly pull out. Unfortunately, both Travis and Dr. Mike succumb to their wounds, leaving the team devastated and angry. They reach out to Camilla Durrani's friend, Bashir, to help them. He says no, but they track his location and go to him anyway, asking for a place to bury their dead. Bashir calls the former minister and she comes with a bag of money, the $10 million ransom for her daughter. The team realize the bills are counterfeit and are appealed, but Camilla reassures them that Amir isn't American and wouldn't be able to tell instantly, buying them some time. She leaves after begging Jake to do one good thing before leaving Afghanistan. Jake reveals that she has a number to call for evacuation, Blackhawks sitting across the border, and they decide to call them. In the next scene, Badia is brought to Amir where she taunts him for running from the Americans, but he shocks her even more by saying he needs a strong woman.
If I was afraid of the American, I wouldn't make plans to marry you.
This throws Badia off as he explains that he'll free her friends if she marries him. But once he mentions that the freedom he is talking about is marrying the girls off to his men instead of selling them to slavery, she spits in his face. He definitely deserves that. The team are still at Bashir's when Awina comes to meet them. She tells them that while the Taliban think it's ISIS that attacked their armory, Amir knows it wasn't, so he was planning to move the girls, but she doesn't know where yet. When Awina mentions that the Taliban think ISIS stole their weapons to attack the prison where the sheik was being held, Jake decides to change plans and use the sheik to lure Amir to them. She first asks Awina for her phone, but the other woman said she didn't come with it. Then Jake makes the team drop all their fake ID to be burnt and instructs them to admit they're American soldiers if they're ever caught. She says it's so they'll eventually be traded, but Rocky informs her that she wasn't traded when she was caught, only executed about to be, and Jake says it's still the best chance they've got. The day the sheik is to be moved to a maximum security prison, the team monitor all movement, planning to intercept the movement. But things don't go as planned, because to get the sheik out, they needed to blow up the first van leading the procession. However, Rocky, who was to stop and give the signal, notices a civilian bus coming, so she keeps going and tries to stop the bus with her motorcycle, but ends up trapping herself under the bus, at least stopping it in the process and saving multiple lives. The rest of the team watch helplessly, but there's no time to react as the line of Humvees transporting the sheik comes into view, and they have to go on with the plan. After blowing up a few of the vehicles, Jake and Geek go to help Rocky, but her foot is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Literally. They have to leave her there, and Jake begs her to tell the Taliban she's an American soldier, and Rocky agrees. The team capture the sheik, but a round of shooting ensues as some Taliban soldiers are untouched, and Abbas is shot from behind, dying only minutes later. They go back to Bashir's house where Abbas is buried, and here, Jake and Jane have a heartfelt conversation where it is revealed what happened to Jake's commander, Frank, back in 2021 when Amir held them hostage. Just like he had done with Jake, Amir had instructed the captured soldiers to stone their commander to death, but they all refused, so he sliced the throat of a village woman, and when they still refused, he did the same to her child. To prevent the death of more innocents, Jake picked up a heavy rock, aimed it at Frank's temple, and killed him with that one strike so he wouldn't have to die a slow death. As their conversation ends, they hear that Rocky is on TV, so they rush inside to check. Their friend, kneeling before them on the screen, doesn't say she's American like she promised. She only starts to praise Allah, and her throat is slit before everyone to see. Jake runs outside the house and screams in rage, eyes bloodshot, before rushing into the shed the sheik was and pointing a gun at his temple in blind anger. In a split second, she notices the direction of his eyes and whirls around to find Awina standing in the shadows, phone in hand. What a little liar. Awina looks at her smugly as Jake realizes she had been working against them, so she quickly knocks her out with her gun. The others run in and are shocked to see Awina lying on the floor as Jake quickly explains that apparently it was Awina that led ISIS to her team back in 2021 when Jake thought she saved her life, and Awina had done the same again. With the minutes they had left, they make a run for it, leaving the money behind with the sheik since Amir and his men were already on their way to them. They hide in the bushes a little distance from the house and watch as ISIS soldiers storm the shed the sheik was. Amir helps Awina up and instructs her to put the sheik in the vehicle, obviously respecting the old man very much, before checking the bills in the bag. As expected, he doesn't notice their counterfeit because he throws the bag into his van, and they leave. On their way out, the sheik asks Amir why he's helping him, and the terrorist says it's just because the sheik knew his parents and married them. That's all? Sounds suspicious to me. The team watch from their hiding spot, and Jake reveals she left her phone in the bag of money and instructs Geek to locate her phone on the map, allowing them to track Amir. Amir takes the sheik back to the cave he uses as his base, where he tells the sheik that he has chosen a bride and wants him to perform the ceremony, to which the elderly man heartily agrees. Jake sneaks into the underground base through a hole serving as a smoke chimney for the generator below. Jake wears a full burqa and blends in with the women serving the soldiers and uses the opportunity to scope out the place and check the cage where Amir was keeping the schoolgirls. She notices Badia isn't there and quickly goes to send the Black Hawk team that would be their escape plan, and she sends them their location coordinates. Badia is all dressed up and Amir rushes the sheikh to skip the whole ceremony and quickly pronounce them married. The sheikh is shocked and Amir reveals his true intention. He doesn't care about the sheikh or religion. He just wants the sheikh to pronounce them married, since it was the same sheikh that joined his parents too. The sheikh reluctantly pronounces them married, and instantly with hateful words, "Now, for denouncing my parents, yes you did, and they were executed by the Taliban, which is why I swore you would die by my hand." He sliced the old man's throat with his sword, shocking everyone in the room. After Jake briefs them, Malek and the rest go in, with the ladies in full burqa to blend in with the kitchen women. While taking out the ISIS soldiers one by one, Amir discovers the bills are fake, as well as the phone in the bag. He blames Awina for bringing the American soldiers to him and shoots her square in the head. He then turns to Badia and says,
Your first wifely duty, clean up the blood.
And leaves her. Since they know they've been infiltrated, they ask all the women to line up in the kitchen area and take off their veils. Jane is fished out, so she gets the ball rolling by flicking the button in her hand and blowing up a section of the cave. Chaos ensues with soldiers grabbing their weapons and Malik firing more missiles and blowing up more soldiers. Badia kills the old woman, always helping Amir, and escapes, running into Jake and the bomb in an elevator. Jake tells her to help the other soldier get the girls to safety and goes back to kill Amir. She finds him and they fight for a while, Amir having the upper hand with his large sword, but underestimating Jake's anger and need for revenge. She slices his throat with his own sword and holds his hands down so he can't apply pressure to the gushing blood, and he dies, choking on his blood. The bomb gets the girls to a truck, but it refuses to start, just as Geek is trapped beneath rocks and rubble from an explosion. Jake goes to help her, but she can't pull her out, having to leave her there, but not without a gun. Their truck finally starts and they speed out the cave towards the waiting helicopter. The girls are rushed onto the chopper, but Jake refuses to get on, so Malik stays behind too. The chopper leaves and the movie ends with Malik and Jake driving back into the country, Abbas's favorite song blasting from the stereo. Where they're driving to, I'm not sure, but that is how it ended. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out our next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.